Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Digital Nomad World weekly series. I'm Becky, and once again, I'm going to be your host. Today, we're bringing you another digital nomad destination guide with my guest, Valerie Lowe. Valerie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Becky. Thanks for having me in the show. Thank you so much. Happy to be here. And can't wait to talk to you about Koh Phangan.
I am so excited to talk about Koh Phangan because actually, this is the very first interview I've done about a destination where I haven't been there myself. So I'm really
Mm.
going to be learning so much right along with the listeners and the viewers. So we're going to have to see all about Koh Phangan and see if we want to go by the end. Convince
Yeah.
us, Valerie.
Oh my God. It'll be so easy. I'm ready. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, first of all, can you tell us about your background and your connection with Koh Phangan, how that got started?
Oh wow. Really quick. So I started my digital nomad journey about 8 years ago, and I was in Los Angeles at that time, living a really nice life, having my own business. And I kind of stole everything and started my digital nomad journey. And immediately, I would say about 6 months into the journey, or maybe close to a year, I landed on Koh Phangan. As soon as I landed on Koh Phangan, I knew that place was different. So, I'm a burner. I go to Burning Man every year. And as soon as I landed on Koh Phangan, I just feel like there is this Burning Man vibe. And immediately I got sucked into it. And then, from then every year I go a few times a year. Yeah.
Nice.
So that
Okay,
was
and
the original his origin. Yeah.
just so everybody knows, I think we've mentioned it, but I'm going to say it again. Koh Phangan is in Thailand, and
Mm-mm.
we have talked about Koh Lanta on this show before. We'll try to put a link in the description to that episode as well. So, but let's talk about Thailand for just a moment. Again, if people haven't seen that episode, what are the requirements, the general requirements for people from most countries to get
Mm.
into Thailand on a visa these days? And I know it's
Yeah.
changed recently. I don't know if you know the latest.
Yes, I know it changed for the better. It used to be for most of the countries, people can come in and just kind of get a visa exemption for 1 month, but they just recently changed that to 2 months. As soon as you land on in Thailand, you get 2 months free, and then at the end of the 2 months, you can go to an immigration and then file for an extension for another month. You can pretty much get 3 months. And then after that, you can do a visa run. People call it a visa run. You can go to another neighboring country and then just come back and then it restarts again. So yeah, it's really easy for people to go to Thailand.
Yeah, Thailand is I think it was in June of 2024. They said,
Something
we
like
want
that. Mm.
we we really want to boost our tourism, but we also want digital nomads. And I think now
Hmm.
you can with that much money even get a digital nomad visa like for 6 months or more. I do think they want to tax you. They're going to start taxing though if you stay for 6 months or more as well. So everybody be careful
Probably.
about
Mhm.
and check which country you're from. For example, I had a friend from Colombia last year who was having a few issues with the length of her stay, but I think Thailand's also extended that to new countries as well. Or they're being a lot
Mm.
more generous with everybody.
Right, exactly. So good news for everyone. If you haven't been to Thailand, make sure you go now.
And I ask this with everybody with destinations. So, is there anything that you bring to Thailand from the outside before you go in for like 3 to 6 months that you really have trouble finding, especially an island like Koh Phangan? Is there something we should pack that we're not going to be able to get easily there?
From the top of my head, I don't think so because Thailand is quite advanced. You can pretty much get anything we want there, and even the delivery service is almost next day. It's super easy to order things online. With that said, I don't think there's anything specific that we need to make sure we have. Yeah.
I think the other guests said the same thing. So Thailand really has started to offer so many things. I know there's 7-Elevens that are I don't know if
Oh,
all of
yeah.
them are 20. Are they 20
24/7.
there?
Yeah, 24/7, all of them. Or
It's
there's Lazada, which is kind of like Amazon, but in Thailand, in
a
Southeast
great
Asia, and it's super cheap and it's really easy, fast delivery. Yeah.
Fantastic. I think the only thing people may not be aware of when they go into Thailand is wine is quite expensive compared to coming from Europe.
Yes, alcohol. Yeah, exactly. But I don't think you'll be want to be bring your own alcohol to Thailand. But yeah, alcohol, because of the taxes and stuff, alcohol is quite expensive. But still, you can get a beer for like $1. It's not so bad. But wine or liquor, it costs a little bit more. But yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
Also, I
Mm-hmm.
know last year too, and not that we don't talk about this much on our show, because a lot of countries are still some of them are still conservative, but marijuana, like the drug laws in
Oh
Thailand
my
have
God.
changed a lot in the last couple of years.
A lot, a lot, especially the last 2 years since it has been legalized. It has been, I almost feel like it's a little bit too much. Almost, almost like, yeah, especially on the island too, because it's such a small place. So I heard recently from somebody that there's more weed shop than cafes now on the island, which is quite crazy, you know. But yeah, for people who enjoy smoking a joint here and there, it's really safe to do it in Thailand now because, it's legal and the culture is quite nice. So there's some really nice lounges you can go. It's really really hip, really modern. But yeah, that's great news for a lot of people.
Topic, but I know they're trying to support farmers in Thailand, growing it. They're trying to get the
Mm,
local people to be able to profit from this, but
make more
you know,
money.
it's such a new thing that I think some changes still need to be made and adjustments for people, tourists coming in. And I think it still feels under control, but like you said, it can feel like there's too many cafes
Yeah,
dedicated to
but
that.
it's good for the consumer. We have selections, we have options. Yeah.
Uh, well, okay, let's talk about accommodation in Koh Phangan because I've heard
Mm,
rumors it's expensive and it can be hard if you
yeah,
don't book in advance. Is that true? What is the general, where would you
it
recommend people
is.
to or
It
look
is
for
very
accommodation?
true. Yeah, it is true, especially after COVID. Price has pretty much doubled at least, and because it's an island, so it's more limited. So and also because of the demand, a lot of people started to come, so the pricing have went up definitely. And I would say during the high seasons, which is around December to February or March, that it's really hard to book a place, or it's really really expensive. So during those times, it's still possible. Every time I go, I still are able to find accommodation. But the best way to find accommodation on the island is, I would say, through Facebook groups. So there are many, many Facebook groups that people post and when they have a rental, and that's the best way to find midterm, long-term rentals. And but I always advise people to if this is your first time, never been on Koh Phangan, at least book a hotel or Airbnb for a few days, for a week, and then once you get there, then you can look up those Facebook group and then really go see the houses, see if you like them, or sometimes you can just drive around the island. There will be signs that houses for rent or things like that. You can just check them out yourself. I think that's the best way because sometimes it's hard to know if you like the place or not when you're not there, and also sometimes they need deposit and all of those things, so it's better to just book a few nights and then look for a place while you're there. Hmm.
Would advise that even in the high season when there may not be a lot of places, you can still
I
find
mean, you can
something.
start the search. Yeah, you can start the search on Facebook group before you go, and then just kind of
Mm.
schedule it, schedule the time where around the time you arrive, you're able to see and move in rather soon. Yeah, also with high season too. Just high season, everything is just more expensive. Just expect to pay, or sometimes it will cost maybe even around 1,000 euros a month for a decent place. So yeah, it's quite high for a place like Thailand. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a beautiful island. Many people want to come, and yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of the things you're going to get for being able to stay for a
Mm,
thousand euros, dollars, around that. So let's get
mm,
into it. We get on Facebook groups, we find our place after we book our hotel for a week or so. And
mm-hmm,
what the situation with work? Are there good co-working spaces on the island, or is it more like work?
mm,
What places do you recommend for
yeah.
that? And also meeting people who are also working.
Yeah, I like that question. So the island is very digital nomad friendly. It's a hot spot for digital nomads. So, the island is prepared for that. So there are co-working spaces, not so much co-living though, but co-working spaces, there's a lot of them. And also cafes are all very nomad friendly. And I would say I list out a few ones. So La Casa Tropicana is one of my favorite. It's located right in front of the ocean, and they have this AC room where you can just look out and it's the big ocean right in front of you. And they have food, they have music, everything is really good there. And there's also Inner Space Co-working, Hustle Club, and all the cafes like Indigo Cafe is also really good for working. Pretty much anywhere you go on the island, as long as there's AC, I need AC to work in Thailand. As long as there's AC, it's most of the time it's really a comfortable working environment, and the internet is good. Yeah, so it's really really easy for digital nomads to find place to work, or you can just work from home. A lot of nomads I know work from home as well. And so because of the co-working spaces and cafes, and a lot of nomads just kind of gather there and work from there, so it's very very easy to meet people. So it's actually very easy to meet people on the island in general. And sometimes we do have nomad meetups too. So actually, every time while I'm on the island, I used to host a Friday nomad dinner, where all the nomads will gather for a Friday dinner. We just meet each other, kind of get to know each other, or just networking and have fun on a Friday night. So yeah, there are activities like that too, because there's so many nomads on the island.
Wow, is this done through WhatsApp groups? Like when you come onto the island, you
Usually
find out
Facebook.
Facebook groups.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually
No.
we have Facebook groups. We also have WhatsApp group, but Facebook groups, I would say it's a more easier to stay up to date. So if
Do you
you
have a
just
certain place
for the viewers,
yeah,
yeah, I was
certain
gonna
that you
say. So I think there's two mainly. I think there's a Nomad Community Koh Phangan, or Digital Nomad Koh Phangan. Those are two pretty big nomad Facebook group.
okay, fantastic. Because it's so
Mm,
different everywhere you
mm,
go. I know in Beyond, there's one co-working space and there was a WhatsApp group you would
right.
join and everything was kind of organized through that. But I have to say I'm not used to going to Facebook groups so much anymore. So everybody, if you're like me,
Mm.
go to the Facebook groups on Koh Phangan.
Yeah, yeah, because it's more updated. WhatsApp group is usually controlled by one person or a few admins, and then people come and go. So I feel like that's not so up to date. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us how big is the island? Like, do you recommend getting a car or renting a scooter? What is the
Mm,
way that people get around? And is there a certain part of the
mm.
island that's like most popular for the nomads?
Yeah, sure. So scooter is the main mode of transportation. Sometimes if people don't like to ride a scooter, they can rent a car. But the island is scooter friendly, so scooter is easier to get around. I would say, yeah, but make sure when you drive on the island, you drive safely. There's like sometimes there's sand on the road, it can get dangerous. So just drive safely on the island. And also, so what was your next question? The transportation, and then
So is there a part of the island where most of the nomads
yeah.
are concentrated? Because on Koh Lanta, where I have been, there's parts that seem a little more towards the tourists, and then the nomads are
Hmm.
all at the one co-working space. But I know it's
Right, yeah, yeah. So Koh Phangan, it's not small and it's not big. It's kind of like right in the middle is the perfect size. But usually people kind of gather around the west side of the island, uh, the west north side of the island, because the south side is where the full moon party is. Definitely, if you're working, you probably wouldn't want to be around that area. So usually people stay around like Pantai, which is on the west, a little bit towards the middle. Pantai to Chaluklam or Sri Tanu. That whole coast in the west is where people stay usually. Yeah.
where is your favorite place to stay when you go?
That's a good question. I like to stay around Bantai area. Yeah, that's a little bit south of the city center. But so that's me. But if you like, so the island has so much to offer. It's not just the digital nomad, working thing, but there's also people who like yoga, meditation. I know some nomads also like that kind of scene. So those type of activities are usually around Sri Tanu. It's which is a really popular place now. That's kind of well known in the world in some sort of a niche. But anyway, so if you like that kind of spirituality, Sri Tanu is a very good place to stay. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it sounds like there's so much variety on the island depending on what you want. Is it typical that the
Hmm.
was curious, do they all kind of do a pilgrimage over to the full moon party at least once while they're on the island, or is it now kind of considered, yeah, that's for the tourists. We don't go down there.
I mean, this it all depends on people, but I feel like for me, I did it at least once, just to check the box. And I know a lot of people do that just to check the box. But after you go there once, you probably wouldn't want to go again. But at least once in your lifetime, still go. You're on the island. If you're there, might as well. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay. Interesting.
Hmm.
Let's talk about many people love to talk about food in Thailand, food on Koh Phangan.
Oh,
What are some places that you recommend to eat? Is there a lot of variety,
yeah.
or is it mostly Thai food?
Mm. There's so much variety. I would say one of my good friends actually told me he found that Koh Phangan has the best international food. Of course, there's Thai food, but the international food from all types, all different countries are the best on the island. Even pizza, even French food, all of those. So my favorite restaurant is called La Cove. It's a French restaurant, and they're situated right on the beach, and the vibe is amazing.
How
Hello,
do
do I have you here?
Yes, I can still hear
Okay.
you. How do you spell Laco? Is
Okay, I
it
think that La Cove, like L, like Alcove, Alcove. Let's do it that
okay?
way.
Okay, got it. So everybody, because if it's French, you don't
Like
know.
the cove in French. Yeah,
Oh, got
it's
it.
my favorite place. But then there's also, oh, I think the internet. Sorry, I don't know what happened to the internet all of a sudden. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you. Okay, yeah, you're
Okay,
still.
good.
Yeah.
And so La Cove is my number one. It comes to when it comes to food and the whole vibe. But Sati Pot is one of my next favorite, and they serve Persian food. Yes, they have the best food on the island. And then when it comes to Thai food, my favorite place is Harbor House. That's the best Thai food on the island, in my opinion.
I'm just like shocked they have Persian food. I'm like, what? This island does seem to have a wide range of things. I don't even think Koh Lanta has
Yeah,
food, if I recall.
yeah. I would say I feel like Koh Phangan is more developed than Koh Lanta. Yeah, and there's more variety of expats.
I was going to ask you about the difference, but I'm still thinking about the food. So, is there great coffee? There's also some great places to have coffee and do, smoothie bowls in the morning.
Mm,
What are some of your favorites
yes.
if you want to start work in the
So
morning?
like yeah, like Indigo Cafe. I think they have two locations on the island. They serve really good coffee, really good smoothie bowls, things like that. And then there's another breakfast place called Bubba's, and they also have two locations on the island, or I think three locations on the island. And they serve really good breakfast as well with smoothie bowls. But smoothie bowls is, it's like almost like the thing in Thailand. If you're in Thailand, especially on the islands, smoothie bowls is there.
Yeah, it's like it seems to be everywhere. I first encountered it in Bali, and then it just also seems to be kind of a nomad stereotype.
Mm,
Say we all love it. That's what
yeah,
we go to Southeast Asia. It's
exactly.
spots. Well, also want to ask you about because I know in Thailand it's famous for massages. Can you find affordable massages?
Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, definitely. I would say the prices, of course, massage places are everywhere, and it's about $10 an hour. That's the normal price, $10 an hour. Yeah.
I know that the accommodation can be expensive in Copenhagen, so I didn't know also if the massages were a little bit more expensive there compared to Chiang Mai or Bangkok.
Probably a little bit, but yeah, probably a little tiny bit more expensive, but it's still super affordable. And also our nails, right? For ladies, if you like to get your nails done, yeah, Thailand is the place to be. It's so cheap. It's I think, less than $20 for a full set.
Highly skilled, typically.
You mean
Well,
the other people highly skilled? Hmm.
yes, yes, they're highly skilled with the nails, I think, there compared to certain other countries I've been to
Right, right,
for what you're paying.
exactly.
I also
Hmm.
wanted to ask you about Wi-Fi connectivity. It's an island, so we often
Mm,
first think, can I do video calls? Can I do things that require a lot of heavy video work? What's the connection like in Koh Phangan? Do you need to be careful about it when you're booking accommodation?
Hmm. No, usually that's not a big problem at all. Usually, if you get a decent place, the Wi-Fi is really good. Or Wi-Fi is also very good at co-working space, or even cafes have really good Wi-Fi's. Even for video call, it's not a problem. But of course, as a nomad, you always want to have a backup just in case. So for phone data, it's also not so expensive. You can also get unlimited phone data. Not for a lot of money, maybe $20-$30 a month. You can get unlimited data just to make sure that you have a backup just in case. Yeah, but usually your home Wi-Fi is more than enough.
Okay, good to know. I always worry about that with
Mm,
islands. What is the safety like
yeah.
on Koh Phangan? I know you mentioned the scooters,
Mm,
careful. That can often be the biggest thing you have to worry about.
yeah. I would say other than the scooter, like traffic accident, everything is safe. Like, Thailand is a rather safe country. But other than scooter accident, because I've been on the island for so many years, so I've heard stories, I've seen things. So just drive safely. That's always what I tell people, because on the island there's a lot of hills as well. So if you're not experienced, sometimes you want to be more careful. Yeah. But other than that, I would say Koh Phangan is really, really safe. Yeah. Of course, there are cases here and there, but in general, it's a very safe island.
Fantastic. And why would you recommend this place? Why do you love Koh Phangan so much compared to other parts of Thailand, compared to other destinations?
Mm,
Why do you keep coming back there?
yeah. So my 8 years of a nomad journey, and I've been to, almost 40 countries at this point, and Koh Phangan is still my the number one place. It's because of the vibe. It's just, there's a variety of things to do. So, there, like we mentioned just now, there is the spiritual circle, there is the nomad circle, there are families, there's if you like diving or if you like kite surfing. So there's just so many things for me to explore. So if I want to learn something new, it's not hard to find somebody to teach me or go to a workshop on the island. And because of that, it attracts a lot of people with similar mindset, like-minded people. And so it's super easy to meet people. If you're a solo traveler, it's amazing because you can pretty much just go anywhere and just kind of strike up a conversation with somebody next to you, and that person will be, most of the time pretty fun to have a conversation with. So it's very easy to meet people. So because of that, it's easy to have this like communal feeling, because as a digital nomad, it can get lonely on the road, especially if you're bouncing around a lot by yourself, can get lonely. And I know that a lot of nomads really crave that sense of community. That's what Koh Phangan really gives, because there's so many different circles, and you doesn't depend on what you're interested in, you will find your group of friends. Yeah, that's the
Doesn't
number
it?
one reason why I always go back.
It does sound absolutely amazing. Does it feel sometimes too
Mm,
small of a community? Like if you want to get away from somebody or you're sick of a group, are you going to keep running into them? Or like,
yeah,
I don't know.
that's so funny.
Feel like
That's a
sometimes
good question. So the island it's not too small, but it still can get small. And I still remember during the COVID time, there are just that many people on the island, so we keep running into the same people. So sometimes it could feel like everywhere you go, you see somebody that you know. So when I feel that way, being on the island, I would just take the short trip to, let's say, Koh Samui. It's only 30-minute boat ride away. Sometimes I do take a retreat just to Koh Samui, where nobody knows me. I can just kind of have a retreat by myself there. Or you can go to Koh Tao, which is about 2 hour boat ride away, and that's a big diving spot. And you can just go, have a short trip somewhere. Or sometimes I even just go to the other side of the island and have a retreat there by myself. Yeah. So it can get small, but I think, if you're not there for a very long time, it's actually very exciting to see your friends everywhere you go.
absolutely, yeah. Those tight community bonds for sure are being formed. And like you mentioned, the spiritual
Mhm.
side, I know it attracts people like that as well. And you can really bond with these people and also try to find enlightenment yourself if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, a lot of people, they're seeking, they're seekers. A lot of seekers end up on the island. Yeah.
Yeah, it's have you been to Bali before?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I actually went there before I even went to Koh Phangan. Hmm.
I'm curious because it sounds kind of like Bali, some of the things you're describing, being on a scooter, smoothie bowls,
Yeah,
the beaches, the so how does it compare for you to a place like Bali?
yeah. That's so funny. There's you know, Koh Phangan or versus Bali. There's always like a debate, like which one, you know, is better or whatever. Of course, you know, I've been on Koh Phangan so many times and I've only been to Bali one time. So I personally like Koh Phangan more. You know, Bali is bigger. I mean, of course, if you just want to concentrate on the main cities, it's not that big, but Bali itself, it's a big island and it's a different way of living. I feel like even though it looks like they are the same, they're on the island, we eat smoothie bowls, you know, but Bali, I would say it's more polished, maybe. Maybe that's the word to use, more polished, and then even more touristic than Koh Phangan. And Koh Phangan, I feel like has even more expats, and it's more rustic, a little bit more rustic than Bali. And when I think about Bali, I just think about villa and personal chefs. You know, a lot of people even have personal chefs, things like that. But on the island, it's I feel like it's more down to earth than Bali, especially Bali now. Traffic is crazy. Yeah, I just haven't been hearing a lot of good things about Bali recently nowadays. These few years. Yeah.
Think it's another place that
Hmm.
post-pandemic, a lot of things have changed. And yeah, also like people's, you know, how much something costs, it's going to determine whether you're going to feel comfortable
Mm,
or not. And perhaps Bali has priced some of the nomads out, and Koh Phangan, you can still find places that will work for you.
probably. I would say maybe it's about the same now, the pricing maybe, or even Koh Phangan housing might be more expensive than Bali. Yeah.
Wow. But I imagine there's less of it,
Hmm.
as you mentioned, like Bali's bigger and they've
Mm,
probably
yeah.
built more of the hotel industry out, places to stay.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I know the
Yeah.
visas are quite different too in Indonesia versus Thailand, especially now. So it's something to consider.
Yeah. Yeah. I almost feel like maybe Thailand has a cleaner beach, maybe cleaner sea.
Okay. Yeah,
Mm.
it's it's amazing how they're similar, but they also are quite different. And how about the locals? Like, is it easy to connect with the locals on Koh Phangan, or do you feel it's mostly? I know
Mm.
stick together. Is it mostly expats and nomads together there, or do you get a sense you can connect with the locals?
Yeah, I would say the Thai people on Koh Phangan are quite westernized because it's a tourist island, you know. There's so many tourists, so many expats, so the locals are very used to that. So I feel like they're more open-minded than let's say you know, Thai in the mainland or in the countryside. So those Thai are very open-minded and they are very open to connect with expats. So I don't see a lot of division, even though expats still hang out with more expats, but there's also sometimes Thai people in the group as well. And when we go out to parties, there's also Thai people. So there's good division still, but I still think that these two groups quite mix quite well together. Yeah, and also Burmese people from Myanmar, they are also a big population too in Thailand. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I also, my final question is about nightlife. With the full moon party, we know that nightlife is there. Um, is
Yes,
there a lot of on Koh Phangan? Because some of these islands
a lot.
close early,
Yeah.
but what is Koh Phangan like?
Oh, Koh Phangan. Like Koh Phangan is the party island, but there's so many different types of party. I always tell people, you know, the most famous full moon party is the worst party on the island. It's really the worst. But there's so many parties, and you know, we sometimes we even take a boat just to go to party. We'll go take a boat to the other side of the island just to party, and then take a boat back, which is a really awesome experience. And the parties other than full moon party and the tourist driven party, like you know, some parties are mainly for tourists, and other than those parties, the parties on Koh Phangan are really fun. Like, you know, you've been to you're a burner too. So, you know, that Burning Man vibe, it's there on the island. And other than that, you know, for people who like to party, but for people who don't like to do so much, you know, drinking or anything like that, there's also ecstatic dance, which is really big on the island too. It's one of the hub of ecstatic dance on the island. So, for example, every Sunday, There's a big ecstatic dance event that everyone goes to, and also a few ones throughout the week as well. So yeah, as far as social life, entertainment, Koh Phangan has one of the best. Yeah. So if
Sounds
you're a digital
unique
nomad, you work
that
very
way.
hard. Yeah. Yeah. If you work really hard during the week and you want to just let go and have some fun during the weekend, yeah, the Koh Phangan has a lot of that for you.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like one of the most
Mm-hmm.
unique, like, I would say combinations of things you can do as a digital nomad, because a lot of places, especially in Southeast Asia, I don't experience that much of a party unless I'm in a huge city.
Right. Good thing is Thailand is really open-minded too. Thailand is one of the most open-minded countries in Asia. For example, like how they treat ladyboys or trans people. They're very open-minded to that, very accepting. So yeah, it's a country where you can feel a lot of freedom, even though you're in Asia. Kind of like you said, Asia, sometimes, there's many rules. In Thailand, there's less. Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay,
Hmm.
this is my final question. Do you find it easy to
Yeah.
balance your work and your play there? Because it sounds like you could just play all day long.
Mm. Yes, you can. That can be a dangerous line. But I feel like, if you have been a digital nomad for some time, you know that you need to balance out. You know that you need to have the discipline. So for me, because I've been on the island for so long and I'm not so young anymore. So I'm not just like partying all day. I don't, that doesn't appeal to me. So I do have quite a good balance. I work most of the time like normal people and how my normal life, but then I have friends to hang out with and have dinner with, and then once in a while I'll go out and have fun with my friends. So my life on the island is quite balanced. And, I can do yoga, meditation, go to the beach. So I would say to have a very balanced life, that you have social life, you have your health and fitness and food and all of those things combined. Koh Phangan really has the best for all of those. Yeah.
That's something I forgot to ask. Where do you find the parties? Is it on the Facebook groups? The one
You can.
boards?
There's also Facebook group. There's like Koh Phangan events or something like that, Facebook groups. But once you're on the island, you will know because, like I said, it's so easy to meet people, and people will kind of talk about what events they're going to. And sometimes you have 3, 4 events going on in one day. And you kind of have to pick where to go. So and yeah, so you will know. You will know once you're there.
All right.
But there's
Well,
also Facebook groups.
this seems like a fantastic place. If you haven't been as a digital nomad, just like me, you should consider it for this winter, perhaps. And if you do, like
Mhm.
Valerie said, get there, book something for a week, start exploring around from the Facebook groups, and hopefully you can find something that works for you and experience all that this magical island has to offer.
Mm. Well, one thing I want to add, we haven't talked about one thing. So how the Facebook group for house rental. So if you go on Facebook and just type in Koh Phangan rental or Koh Phangan rent a house, you will see a list of different Facebook groups.
Oh, that's a really good tip. Thank you for adding that. Is there anything else that
Mm.
you want to add before we go?
No, I think we've covered a lot. So yeah, if anyone, ever want more tips or anything and recommendation, feel free to hit me up. Even though you don't know me, we're strangers still, but hit me up and I'm a Koh Phangan ambassador. Oh, and also one thing I want to add, actually, I wrote it down as a note. If you can come in April, if you happen to be in Thailand around April, it's their New Year. So it's called Songkran, the water festival. It's one of the best festivals in the world. So I would say if you happen to be around in Thailand in April, make sure to check that out.
Yeah, it's like you basically like throw water at each other all day long and shoot
Yeah.
each other with
Yep.
your pistols
People
and things
all
like that.
ages. Yeah. The water fight all day. It's so much fun. Yeah.
That is still on my bucket list as well. Thank you for that reminder, Valerie.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we will put the links to if people want to ask you things and all these things that
Mm.
we've mentioned in our description. And thank you so much, Valerie, for introducing us to this island, Koh Phangan, Thailand.
Yes. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Whoever comes, I hope you guys have an amazing time.
Thank you.